So, season 3 of Falling Skies. Season 2 was already pretty intense, but this is like a whole new level.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm a fan of this kind of material anyways, whether I was working on the show or not. And I like my shows to keep upping the stakes and amping things up. And so since I'm in charge of this show, I really wanted things to feel strong and big. And I think we really accomplished that this season.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much that happens even within that first 2 hour premiere. So, what are you allowed to tell people before the season starts?
Well, I think that we certainly gave a lot of intrigue to what might happen at the end of the second season. We have a new alien that's landed, and we don't know anything about it. And I've certainly watched on the blogospheres and the Twitter sphere that there's been lots of speculation as to whether he's good. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he a he? And I think that what we will find out in this season is that character will certainly be an important part of the season, and we will really be tested at not only as human beings, but as I had the word and it went out. Let me start over again. Sorry about that. We'll not only be tested as human beings, but we'll also be tested as sort of intergalactic citizens of the world, which puts a lot more tension on our characters than they would have expected.
Yeah, and you they sort of revealed his name already.
Yes. Well, we're calling him Cochise. There's not an accident to that. It is reflecting sort of the famous Indian warrior Cochise, but also it's a shortening of his real name, which I for sure can't pronounce. Although if you interview Doug Jones, he knows it by heart. So make him tell him his real name. But yes, and part of the season will be how does Tom Mason interact with Cochise on a one-on-one basis? Can you actually be friends with an alien? I mean, this is someone who is not only, different looking than us, but has a whole different cultural reference, a whole different reference to what life means. What exactly does that do to Tom and his relationship with the second mass and the world?
I have to say, I personally really love the character so far, and I was just curious, how did you come up with the design of the character, and how was he made different from the Skitters and how they look?
Well, we have a very strong boss whose name is Steven Spielberg, who is an expert in aliens and has very exacting specifications for how aliens look. And the one thing he really wanted to make sure is that the aliens weren't just humans with painted faces. And so we went through a number of designs, which Stephen was very involved in, and we wanted a creature who looked enough like us and felt enough like us that we could identify. It's hard to identify with a Skitter. Even Red Eye, who was, certainly we sort of felt some compassion for him at the end, but kind of the same way we'd feel compassion for a good horse or something. But we wanted someone who had some type of humanoid qualities, but was not recognizably human. It wasn't easy to figure that out.
It came out looking really good, I think.
Also, to figure out technically how to make that work was daunting, and we got very lucky in Doug Jones coming and deciding he wanted to be part of it.
And just switching gears towards the characters a little more, Ben had such a great arc last season, and I'm just wondering, is there another character that we'll see having a similar sort of arc maybe this season?
I think that Hal is going to go through quite a journey through hell. And Hal's a very different person than Ben. Hal wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's He's got huge amount of passion. He's quick to anger, but quick to love. Everything is there. He's a guy you'd like to have on your side fighting. Now all of a sudden he has something inside of him that is influencing him, changing him. It's a deep, dark secret that he doesn't want to tell anybody, but he knows that it's influencing every step, and he fights and fights and fights against it. And he'll be going through a huge change that will not only bring him to the brink of insanity, but will, in essence, change him forever.
I guess we can't really speak of Hal without talking love interest Maggie and Karen. Karen will be back, but it's a big change with her as well, or there's something going on with her. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, Karen has gone full Ashpenny. She's more of an alien than the aliens that we've come in contact with. And the most frightening thing about that is when your own one of your own that has been in the second mass. At first we felt terrible because Karen was kidnapped by them. Then we felt kind of weirded out because she seemed to be the tool of the Ashpenny. Now she's like a worse overlord than even the overlord we met in the second season. What the hell is going on? And yet there's still something about her that is that loves Hal and wants Hal, and probably if she had her druthers, she would like that's a weird word, but if she it's from Little Abner. If she had one thing, it would be that Hal could be by her side while she's ruling, the puny humans, and that drives her a lot. But she has quite an antagonistic force in Maggie. Maggie stands by her man, and she's not going to let the ex-girlfriend get in the way of their love.
And how much do you explore of that, Karen being, alien yet loving this human?
Well, again, we're lucky to have someone like Jesse Schramm who's portraying it, who's the sweetest person in the universe. And yet, when she goes full Karen, she's the scariest person in the universe. And I think watching that innocent girl being completely evil, we'll watch some pretty crazy stuff going on. She's not nice in this season. I'll just tell you that right now.
I think we figured that out last season.
Yeah, but she's even worse than you might think she is.
And you also have some amazing new cast members joining the show this season. Can you talk about a little bit of?
Yeah, we have an abundance of good luck this season with our cast and our guest cast. As I mentioned before, Doug Jones joins us as Cochise, who, is the only one that I think could bring a character like Cochise to life. We're also lucky to have Gloria Rubin and Robert Sean Leonard joining our cast, and even Stephen Collins comes in for an episode. We've had a really great luck with guest cast. But one of the reasons that we wanted to make sure that we had wonderful actors playing those parts is because we're starting to expand our world a little. We're starting to meet people that aren't part of the second mass, and they have experienced the trauma of an alien invasion apart from the second mass, and we want to see what those dynamics are that they bring in. We've got Marina, played by Gloria, that seems to have experience in civil service, seems to be the right-hand person of Tom, but she clearly has an agenda that is a little separate from Tom, and we wonder about that. And then we have Dr. Roger Kadar, who we learn has been keeping the infrastructure of Charleston going in the bowels of God knows where, and has clearly experienced some kind of trauma that prevents him from wanting to go to Topside. And we want to not only learn more about that, but we need him to be interactive with defeating the Ashpenny. And is he going to be able to function on that level. Bringing in those dynamics is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun to watch. And if you had one word to describe season 3, what would it be?
Well, I've been asked this question a couple times, and one word is not easy. But I would say heart. And the reason I say heart is that what Tom Mason learns and what the second mass learns, and hopefully the audience, is that heart is the most potent weapon we really have as humans. We can get a big club, we can get a monster gun, we can fight, but what keeps us going, what keeps us focused is our belief that what we have inside is the most important treasure we could hold.
And I'm curious, what has been the most surprising part of being with Falling Skies for you?
Again, another good and tough question. Well, trying to tell a huge story in intimate terms has been a really big challenge as a writer, but it's been a really rewarding one. To be able to find rich characters, we're lucky we have a great cast, and our cast is able to embody those characters and take our writing and bring it to places we never would have actually imagined. I never thought that a story about aliens would move me as much as it does, but I think having that as a background has given me an opportunity to really explore the edges of human interaction and compassion with each other.
And I'm curious, in terms of coming up with the arc of a season, what is the process like for you?
Well, we had a general idea of where we wanted to go even before we finished the second season, and that's a little different than in the second season because I came in the second season, and in a way I kind of had an easier job than those in the first season who were trying to find their way. But by the third season, we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do. However, television is dynamic, and you're always trying to figure out what the best way is we can go and still keep it fresh and a surprise. I had a little bit of training with that when I was on 24 because Joel Surnow just kept saying, look, we're only going to concentrate on the next episode. We're not going to talk about what happens at the end of the season. I just want to keep it fresh. It's an hour by hour show. And I've taken a little bit of that learning process that I learned from Joel and try to apply it a little to Falling Skies, where at any turn something could happen. Aliens are not predictable, and at any moment we can happen, and we really wanted to be ready for that story dynamic.
It definitely comes across like that. You're just like, what is going on, within that first episode. And my final question for you is, do you have a message for the fan as they get ready to watch that third season?
Who's the mole? That's really important. You got to figure it out, guys, because that's going to have more of an impact than you could ever imagine. Who's the mole?
Now I want to know, because I've been trying to figure it out and I can't.
I know. Good.